Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to Fiverr Talks. It's Thursday, which means it's a little more couch time. It's time for some Q&A. That's right, every single Thursday, I dig into the YouTube comments. I see what you're saying, what you're asking, what's going on in your Fiverr business, and I answer your questions because this channel is all about you, helping you become a better Fiverr seller, grow your business, maybe dominate your niche, become better at your service, whatever it is. I'm here to help you. If you're new to the channel, my name's Joel. I've been a seller on Fiverr since 2013 under the username DJ Young, and I'm one of Fiverr's all-time top earners, and this channel is all about helping you to become a better Fiverr seller. So we're about to jump into all the questions, but I just want to say, whew, it has been a week, right? I hope everybody else's week has been good, but also busy. It seems that Fiverr is ramping up their marketing. I just read an article about this, and I'll probably talk about this next week after I've had time to read it all, but Fiverr is ramping up their marketing. They are really going deep with this marketing. They're spending more money than ever before, and it really seems to be affecting traffic. You know, in this COVID era when everybody's freelancing, there are now more sellers, but there are also more people doing more things remotely and looking for more creatives to do work for them. So it's a really cool time and place to be on Fiverr, to be selling on Fiverr, to be growing a business on Fiverr. And I seem to be experiencing that like many of you are telling me you are. Let me just tell you, I'm out here practicing this stuff every single day, every single week. I'm out there on Fiverr selling just like you. And today was a crazy day. That's why our video is so late. But I think you would rather have somebody out there in the trenches doing work every day than somebody philosophizing about what it might be to earn money on Fiverr or start a business or grow a business on Fiverr. That's not what we're doing here. This is real world. I've done this stuff and I'm doing it out there with you right now. So I want to jump into these questions, because you beautiful people have left me some great questions, and I'm going to get to as many of them as I possibly can. So again, if you have questions, leave me yours down below. We will get into them hopefully next week. Our first question is from Dinah Galal. Sorry, probably got that wrong. I know Fiverr has its ups and downs, but this entire month, my stats have dropped a lot. I mean, no orders and maybe only a couple of messages. I'm freaking out. Has anyone else had a similar experience? Dinah, let me just tell you, in direct opposition to what I just said about things being crazy and Fiverr spending more on advertising and things growing, it doesn't matter what's going on in the Fiverr sphere. There will always be times like this. There will always be times when your services seem to drop, where you begin to wonder, am I even in the search results? Are things even happening? Where you don't get any messages and your sales go down. But you know what you do during those times? I've made several videos about this. You need to be out there hustling to make your marketing materials better, rewriting your gig descriptions, thinking about your thumbnails, maybe even practicing your service so you can offer a better service, going out there and doing more in the downtime to make your business grow. Yes, I realize that things drop sometimes, and it can be scary. That's why freelancing is something you have to really work your way into it, because when you're first starting out as a freelancer, whether it's a side hustle or a full-time job, it can be daunting to have those downtimes that, it's like an ocean. The waves will go up, but they'll also come down. That can be daunting at times, but you need to hang in there. And when things are slow, work like they're going to pick up tomorrow. Get things going, get your marketing going, get really excited about what you're doing so that when all the orders come back, you're doing better work and you're more prepared for it than ever before. So don't give up. You can do this. Demetrius is our next question. He says, hey, Joel. Hey, Demetrius. Thank you for all your awesome content. Well, that's just super nice. What I want to ask is a critical issue for me, and it is, what about the free promotion out of Fiverr? He's talking about promoting your gigs outside of Fiverr, I assume. He says, I shared my links. I posted on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and I haven't understood if there were any changes in my traffic. What are your thoughts, and should I try more, or do you have any other suggestions for promotion? Now, I've done videos about this in the past, Demetrius. Promoting your gigs outside of Fiverr is a viable way to drive traffic to Fiverr, but only if you have an audience outside of Fiverr to drive there. You see what I mean? If you have a social media following of a couple hundred people, you're probably not going to find people who need your services within that small group. You need to find a way to get access to larger groups of people outside of Fiverr on social media to drive traffic to your gigs in order for it to actually have the effect you want. So just like with anything, if you're doing social media promotion, you need to find a way to get the highest amount of eyeballs on your advertisements, you need to make sure that they're good, they're optimized, and they're on the right platforms, and you're reaching people who could potentially look for your services. This could come down to running a small promotion. This wouldn't be free, but running a small Facebook ad to test something. Maybe you offer a service that really hits realtors. Realtors are your target audience. Well, you can filter on Facebook and say everybody who says their job title is realtor or real estate agent, then target them with this ad. Things like that. And it's harder to do on free promotion with just your existing group, but you can branch out. Try to find groups on Facebook. Try to find groups on other social medias that might have shared interests, people who are in the niche of the service you provide, things you could help them with. Be thinking outside of the box like that. But again, it is hard to get people to come to your Fiverr gig when you're promoting it on social media sites that your circle is probably just friends and family, and it's not that big. It's not going to drive a ton of traffic unless you have an audience behind it. So think outside the box, think in other places, and most importantly, like we said for the first question, make sure your gigs are ready when people show up to buy them. Make sure you're offering good quality stuff and your marketing looks on point. All right, sweet. Thanks for the question, Demetrius. Ahmed Salem. He's got a question. He says, hello, Joel. Hello, Ahmed. One customer asked for an invoice before placing an order. Ooh, this is a tricky one. As he needs it for his company to make the payment. I told him that the custom offer can act as an invoice. What do you usually do in these situations? And is sending an invoice against Fiverr's regulations? Ahmed, this is a fantastic question. Not one that many people ask, but when your Fiverr business grows and you start working with larger businesses who have billing departments, they have people that have to approve the transaction. They need an invoice to get it approved, or maybe a PO or something like that. This becomes an issue. What you need to do is be very careful. You need to defer to Fiverr on all of these things. Let your customer know that Fiverr handles all the billing and processing. You're simply a seller, and sellers don't get to handle any of that stuff on Fiverr. You're right that the custom offer acts as an invoice, but what they're worried about is the paper trail. And the truth is they can check a setting in their Fiverr buyer's account, and they'll get an invoice, and they'll also get a receipt, which is more informal, but they'll also get an invoice in their inbox after they place their order. Now, if they need something before they order, that's tricky, because I wouldn't go about sending them a special invoice unless it was completely blank with none of your information, because you definitely wouldn't want to send a paper invoice and make it look like you were trying to get them to pay somewhere else that had information for you outside of Fiverr. That gets tricky and messy. Most of the time, I ask people to speak with Fiverr customer support and say, hey, just message them about this, see what they say. Fiverr customer support is really great with larger businesses, and they'll help them to understand what the process would be if they purchased on Fiverr and what they could offer them in the ways of having invoices and things beforehand and after the work is done. So defer to Fiverr on all of those things. You definitely don't want to be sending crazy invoices through Fiverr just to get something through. I know it can be sticky with these larger businesses who have hoops to jump through, but it's not like they're actually hiring you. Technically, they're purchasing a service from Fiverr and you are the third-party provider. So defer to Fiverr on all those things, billing and processing, and keep yourself in the clear. Stay safe, Ahmed. Don't do anything that would jeopardize your account. Okay? Thanks for the question. Our next question comes from Kristen Holt. She says, congrats on 4,000 subscribers. Kristen, thank you very much. I am so flattered that more than 4,000 of you are subscribed to this channel who are trying to change their lives and grow their Fiverr seller account to be the best Fiverr sellers they can possibly be. We are rocketing towards 5,000. I am so excited to hit 5,000 because that means we're halfway to 10,000. I'm getting really excited about all this stuff. So thank you. Really appreciate you. She says, I offer spokesperson videos, and I've had one customer buy a video and made me the face of his YouTube channel. I can relate. This happened to me a lot when I was a spokesperson. Sometimes fun, but as you're going to find out, folks, this is the other side of things. She says, we're talking hundreds of thousands of videos, all based off of his one video that he ordered. He's cut my video up and edited into other videos. My issue is that he's promoting inappropriate content that I say I don't promote in my disclaimer with my face on it. Is there anything I can do about this? Kristen, This is really unfortunate. And in fact, this is why I got out of the spokesperson game, because the requests got a little strange after a while. And I was worried that one day I'd find my face on something that I didn't want it to be on. Even though I policed the scripts, there would be ways to manipulate a script so it was appropriate, but then later used to promote something inappropriate, which is what it sounds like has happened to you here. I'm really not sure what your recourse in this situation is, but my suggestion would be reach out to Fiverr, because Fiverr is very aware of boundaries that they want, the boundaries they want to set for buyers and sellers. They don't want people ordering inappropriate things on Fiverr, using purchases from Fiverr to do inappropriate things. You know, do a little research on what happened with PewDiePie. That got really nasty, really heavy, and I believe Fiverr did the best they could to handle that situation, even though it was extremely offensive and wrong. They want to stay as far away from that stuff as they can. So if you have information on this, if you have the YouTube links, you have the orders, you say, here's what they ordered and here's what they did, and I'm not okay with this. Are you okay with this? Ask Fiverr to take a look, because it's possible that a company like Fiverr could get involved and maybe defend your honor, and maybe say to this person, hey, you're going to need to take that down. I can't say for sure that I think that's what's going to happen, because it is on a third-party YouTube channel controlled by somebody else. Fiverr can't demand that they do something outside of, giving them a legal warning or just telling them that they need to, or maybe banning them from the platform. I'm not sure. But once it's out there, it's hard to get it back. It's like tube of toothpaste. It's hard to get the toothpaste back in the tube once it's squeezed out. So it sounds like you've done your due diligence on the front end, and it's hard when that turns into something ugly in the end. But I really don't know if there's much you can do other than ask Fiverr, hey, has this happened? Hey, can you help me? And, just admit that you've done all you can, but this still somehow happened. Maybe they could help. Hopefully that helps you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. I'm going to mess this name up, so I apologize. Loyiso Nugent. Loyiso. Very unique name. Kind of cool and beautiful. They say, hey, Joel. Hey, how's it going? I'm a new seller to Fiverr for almost 2 months. Congratulations. Those first couple months are the hardest. Glad you're here. Something weird's going on. Okay, tell me about it. On my gigs, I'm getting a lot of impressions, like hundreds of impressions, but absolutely no clicks. Help. Well, let me just say this. Hundreds of clicks is not a ton. It's not a lot of impressions. Impressions does not mean that someone is clicking and looking at your gig. Impressions mean that your gig has flashed across their screen as they've scrolled. Your gig has been on their screen. That's an impression. So you need thousands or tens of thousands of impressions to get hundreds or thousands of actual clicks onto your gig. I think what it is that maybe you're just reading the stats wrong, and it's too early to really expect a lot yet. You can do some extra work, get things going. Like we've said before, start hustling, but you're going to need a lot of impressions, because click-through rates and purchase rates on impressions are like less than 1 or 2%. They're very low, because impressions are the broadest stat that Fiverr gives us. It's every time your gig appears on a phone or computer screen and someone's just scrolling. So you're going to need a lot more impressions to get some click-throughs and some purchases. Don't be discouraged. You can do this. You can get through this. And just know that you're early. You're still building it. So keep building it. Keep the faith. Stay confident. You can get through this. You can get more impressions, and you'll get your first sale. Hang in there and hang with us. All right. Here's another one of our favorite viewers who comments a lot on a lot of our videos, but because I have standards for appropriateness, I can't say his username. We'll call him BA Mindset, if you catch my drift. He says, hey, Joel, I offer spokesperson videos. We got a lot of spokespeople on the channel watching. Videos are $5 per 25 words, and I've had a couple people place orders directly, meaning that they didn't ask for a custom offer, I assume. That's the vernacular I use. And they didn't count the words in their script. It's lower than what they purchased. In other words, they sent in a 123-word script for $10 when it should be $25 for that length script. Now, let one client know, hey, thanks for your order. It's actually going to cost $25, in which case they responded, well, if you just can't do it, cancel. How do I negate this? Should I raise my prices or offered packages to include details or information in the description, or ask them to hit me up for a custom offer for less words? Is there a better way to do this? BA mindset, I can absolutely say this is a struggle for anyone that offers a per word service, like maybe copywriting, voice acting, spokesperson services, or really anybody that has a quantifiable rate. It's a real issue because people don't read the description, they don't read the rates very carefully, and they oftentimes submit orders that are lower than what they actually need to. And it's very hard to break that news to someone that, hey, you placed a $10 order and you actually owe $25 for this order. To start, it sounds like you're already comfortable making that conversation happen and wording it in a way that's not aggressive but delicate. Really work on your wording, the way that you present this to them, the way that you're presenting your rates. I would also work on your gig description. Make it abundantly clear. Put those rates in bold, highlighted at the top. Make sure people know. Maybe even put that in your gig video if you can spare 5 to 10 seconds to talk about your rates and how it would be easier to calculate them. Or, what I have done, I've got all my services are per word rates. What really cut down on this for me is I simply said, hey, here are some basics, and if you have any questions, message me. Now, that means I field a lot of messages every day, but it also means that probably 75 or 80% of my orders come through custom offer, meaning I know that they're the correct price because I quoted them and sent them a custom offer for it. So in your case, since you're getting a lot of this and you don't want those cancellations, they're not your fault. Someone didn't read correctly or they didn't read at all and they ordered incorrectly, then you want to try to send as many custom offers as you can so that you know they're accurate when they come through. So that would be my suggestion, is try to get more people into the inbox, get them custom offers, make your rates as obvious on top of the page description as you possibly can, because that's a really tough place to be. When people place orders incorrectly, they don't want to correct them, they are rude and maybe belligerent, they cancel, and it causes you a lot of issues with your stats. It's something that you need to try to avoid. It's unfortunate that that kind of thing affects our stats as sellers, and I believe Fiverr has worked on that. We've talked a lot about with them. How do we help the sellers, to not be penalized by these incorrect orders? And they've made some moves, but it's still not perfect. So you just need to do everything you can to make sure that doesn't happen as often as it does right now, and that's probably meaning getting more people into your inbox and getting custom offers sent to them. All right? Hopefully that helps. And thanks for commenting so often. Love your comments. Our last question for today. Gosh, we're getting up there. This is a long video, but I know you love it. Q&A time is your favorite time. It's my favorite time. I love the couch. Our final question is from Muhammad Assad. He says, what kind of words could you choose when communicating with a client? Dear, sir, or with their name or something else? Now, this is a great question. It's actually a question I answered a little bit of in my last video on Monday. So if you haven't watched that, then maybe go back and watch that video for a more in-depth answer. But the real answer is I prefer using people's names, because I know when people come to me that I've never talked to before, I don't know, and they say, excuse me, sir, hey, bro, what's up, dude? Like they try to put some kind of slang in there, like, hey, guy. It really turns me off. Like, I'm not your bro. We've never met. I'm not sir. I'm a 37-year-old guy. Don't be too formal. So you don't want to be too formal. You don't want to be too informal. You don't want to turn somebody off by using a kind of a term of endearment that they don't care for. So I find it best to either refer to them as nothing. You don't have to say, hey, dude, hey, man, hey, sir. You just need to say, hello there, or use their name. I love this. When somebody gives me their name, when I know their name, I use it as often as I can because it builds a personal connection in a very impersonal form of communication. That message box is very impersonal, but using their name makes it personal. It makes you human. Use your name so they know your name, so they can talk with your name in a message. It really helps things, and I think it brings a certain level of humanity to the situation that you're going to need to work well with someone, whether the situation is good or bad. So all that to say, I would throw the sir, dear, madam, dude, guy, bro out the window. I'd use names or nothing at all. Hey, thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Q&A. Leave your questions down below for next week's Q&A. We're doing this every single Thursday. Like I said, we're going to be going live sometime in the future. I'm going to try that out. Never done a live video. This is video 101, so thank you for following me through the first 100. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And if you like this video and got some value out of it, please give me a thumbs up. That really helps the algorithm. Can't wait to answer more of your questions next Thursday. Really enjoy this, and until next time, keep doing, because the future favors the doers.